Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with us today. She's a nail artist. Please welcome Kelly Koutur. Hello, Kelly. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. So I want to go ahead and ask and kick off this interview by asking, where are you from and how you get started in the nail industry?
So I am from Florida, Tampa, Florida, but I was born in Iowa, which
Mm,
is shocking to a lot of people. Um, so I was basically just raised in Tampa my whole life. Left Iowa when I was 5, and getting into the nail industry. I've been in this my whole life pretty much. Growing up, my mom always owned nail salons, and I kind of was just like forced to be there to help. But now she taught me a valuable trade, so I kind of just ran with it.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. Now, who would you consider to be like your favorite nail artist?
Um, it kind of changes from time to time, but lately I've been into a lot of like creative nail art and like a lot of
Mm,
freestyle work. So my top two influencers on Instagram right now are Ten Goku Nails and Nailed by
mm,
Tav.
mm. Yeah, they're really, really great nail
Yeah,
artists.
they're so good.
Yeah, especially Tengoku, like the amount of detail in the manga.
Goku, that oh my god, I'm such a huge fan of her work, to be honest.
Yeah, her work is really, really cool. Now, in terms of just working in a salon, what has been your whole experiences, working in a salon?
So being that I grew up in a nail salon, I'm kind of just accustomed to like the fast pace and working with like random clients that come in. I
Mhm.
really like it. I stopped working in a salon myself when I was so in 2019. So Vanity Projects is the only salon setting that I've been working in recently.
Oh, okay. So, in terms of Vanity Projects, are you an artist in residence or like they just call you by commission in terms of doing like clients, or how does that work working with Vanity Projects?
So when I work with Vanity Projects, I usually come up to New York when I have things that I have planned. So usually I'll work around my schedule. They've asked me to come back once to help, so that was pretty cool. Working with them is like it's really cool. Everyone there is really nice and welcoming, and I get to meet like a bunch of different people from all over the world because it is New York. It's in Manhattan. I've gotten to explore the city and get to experience what it's like to live there without actually having to live there. I really like it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really, really, really cool. Yeah, and also too, I've been in New York before, but it was like a couple years ago. So like the whole thing of New York is like a hustle and bustle, but it has like that big fashion scene, especially like the garment district.
Yes, it's really cool. A lot of New York Fashion Week stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, all the time, absolutely. Now, how could you describe like your nail art style? Like, how do you like to like do nail art?
Um, so I'm pretty eclectic with my nail art. I cater to a lot of different clients, especially like in the beginning of the career. But now I would say a lot of the work I do is a lot of stuff that interests me and like my clients, so we'll work together. It's a lot
Mm.
of freestyle work. So usually they'll come to me and ask me if I want to do whatever I want, or they'll like give me ideas and they'll tell me to do whatever I want with that. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like how your style is like very diverse, and I
Mhm.
like how yours is also experimental. I like the chrome nails you recently did. It was
Yes.
really, really, really cool. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of just with like favorite nail materials and favorite nail like products, what would you consider to be like your favorite nail products?
My favorite nail products. Ooh, there's a lot. I do a lot of like fine line work. So I find that like a really good brush is super important for me. I don't do nothing crazy. I buy like the little 3 pack. They're so I have it right here. They're
Mhm.
like dual ended, and you can buy them off of Amazon. If you just search up like nail art, fine line brushes, like you can find
Right.
them pretty affordable. Um, and then I'm always on the search for a good black line, because like regular gel black isn't like fine line enough and it isn't dark enough most of the time. But out of all the ones I've used, I really like this one brand called Ageha. It's like a Japanese brand. I don't know if I'm like pronouncing it right,
Mm,
but you can buy it off of Nail Labo, and it's just like a fine line. It comes in like a little jar.
mhm.
I use that a lot.
Oh, that's really, really cool. Yeah, I'm a gel person too. I use like, gel polish. I'm an acrylic paint person because I'm also an artist. So I like to paint and things like that. I'm also a digital artist. So like I'm a gel person. I love 4D gel, working with nail polish, like doing different things like poly gel,
Mhm.
out being experimental here and there. So yeah, there's possibilities that are endless, in terms of like creating nail art. It's really amazing.
Yeah, and the brand that I mentioned, as long as like Presto and stuff, like they come in a little jar pot, a lot of them are really good for nail art. So I use a lot of that to like help me with the pigmentation of art and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now I want to switch gears and talk about nail education. So what do you like to see improve for nail education?
Hmm. Well, the nail industry is constantly growing. There's a lot of different people who cater to a lot of different things. As far as education, I would really love to see more nail art being taught. It's a little difficult because it's kind of like a thing like where people will be like, oh, either you have it or you don't. But I feel
Right.
like with the proper educator, you can have somebody that will is willing to teach you constantly and how to get on a level where you're comfortable with your nail art at all times.
Yeah, right. Because especially with the beauty education, because I'm a licensed cosmetologist,
Yeah.
like they're more so about, you getting the hours to pass. And like
Mm-hmm.
how you said before, like, you want to make sure that you're equipped for the industry. So I think that's something that with education, especially in the beauty industry, they don't equip you enough for the industry. And I'm saying in terms of state board.
They'll teach you like, oh, like the proper prep and like sanitation and stuff, which is like perfect. But
Right.
when you're in school, when you're completing all those hours, all they're teaching you is like the base stuff and like making sure you know how to cater to clients and like the walk-in base and all that stuff. But they
Mhm.
don't really teach you a lot of the beauty industry is self-taught, in my opinion. So it's like
Right.
you know the basic care, you know the basic things that you need to know, but when it comes to really showing who you are as the individual, like it's really difficult because they don't teach you that. So a lot
Mhm.
of it is taught.
Yeah, most definitely. Even before I got into cosmetology courses, because I took cosmetology courses in high school, I had to learn different stuff on my own, and even after I got licensed, I still have to learn stuff on my own and things like that. And it's up to me to find courses, up to us to find courses and stuff like that. So, it's trying to make up for what like state board didn't really
Mm-hmm.
offer, you
Yeah,
know.
it's just a bunch of book work.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of book work. That's the entire thing. Now, with doing nails for clients, in terms of the nail art, so pretty much for the most part, do you have like creative freedom, or would there be times where a client will ask you like, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do this drawing?" Like, how does that work with you and the clients?
It's a mix. So let's say at home in Florida, I have my client base that have been coming to me for years. They're all loyal. I love them all.
Mhm.
They usually I know them at this point, so they usually just let me do whatever I want. There will be occasions where they'll be like, I want this, but make it your own. So they'll show me a picture of somebody else's work, and I'll be like, I love that, but we can't copy it, so we'll just do something similar.
Right.
And then a lot of freestyle, a lot of freestyle
Mhm.
work. They'll just like let me do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get into press-on nails. So you have sold press-on nails. So what has been your experience having your own press-on nail business?
So I don't do press on nails as much as I used to, but when I was doing it, it was pretty cool because I would be able to do whatever I want and then put it online and sell it, or people would reach out to me and like show me something that I've already done, which is pretty cool, and like tell me that they want it, and I'll
Mhm.
just create it and ship it out to them.
Oh, that's really, really cool. Now, in terms of with pricing, I'm gonna get into pricing also. So how do you go about like pricing like a nail service, or like how you did like press on nails? Like how did you go about like with pricing?
So press on nails, I usually charge a little bit more than an actual service because that's including like shipping fee and like application things. And because they are reusable, I make sure that not only do they last, it's like when you do remove them, I give them instructions on how to like be able to reuse them properly and like, all that good stuff. And then as far as like my actual work for pricing, I usually just go off of like the amount of time I took on it. I usually don't OD on the price. I've kept my price baseline pretty solid for the past couple years now.
Oh, pretty cool. Yeah, because especially with press-ons, people are charging $200, $300, but that's understandable
Yeah.
because, they're spending a lot of time doing the artwork for the client, for the press-ons, but also the high quality products. And that's something that the client has to consider. Like, if you're gonna buy like, Fenty, Fenty makeup or like a Fendi bag or something like that, you should to, buy $200, $300 worth of press-ons, because this is hard work. This is a body of work.
Yeah, it's like a lot of time was put into it, and you can reuse them anytime you
Yeah.
want with proper care. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they're statement pieces, but I definitely want to get into fashion and nails. So what has been your whole perspective in terms of fashion and nails, like just coming together?
Ooh, okay. So I am really into currently like voguing and like runway fashion and high fashion and all that thing. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of celebrities sporting really cool nails. Like the whole cast of Euphoria, it's pretty iconic to see them like have really modern day nails.
Right.
And like Doja Cat and Cardi B and like Meg, they all have really good editorial artists that will really create cool pieces for them. Um, so when fashion and nails come together, it's really cool. I would love to see that more in the industry, especially like doing runway walks and like magazines and like shoots and stuff. Would love to see that more.
Yeah, yeah, same. I like with the fashion industry, they're embracing like nail art and how the
Mhm.
possibilities are endless. You could do so much with nail art.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool that we're getting the credit in the fashion industry, collaborating with these fashion designers. And also too, and plus there's a lot of trends that's always coming out, especially in the nail industry, and very experimental trends, the snail eyes, the, conceptual, nail designs.
3D stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3D stuff like, the alternative French.
Yeah. I really like what they're doing with like the hard gel and make like textured with the chrome on top, which I do a lot of that. And I see that in runway fashion to correlate with the outfits that they're wearing and the theme that they got going on. I really like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I also like how you mentioned voguing, because I'm watching the brand new season of Legendary. I don't know if you heard of that show.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah. I've been watching since season one, and it's a great show. Like you see a lot of these fashion houses, and not fashion houses, but these voguing houses like battle it out to win $100,000, and
Right, they
all
got
the
their nails
outfits.
clicking, like
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
they have their nails matching or like flow off the design and everything. It's really cool to see that.
Yeah, yeah, it's really amazing to see. It's really, really, really cool. Now, what is your whole take in terms of the nail industry or the beauty industry as a whole? And also too, like, what is something that stood out to you, being in the nail industry?
Wow, okay. So the nail industry, because I pretty much grew up into it, I've gotten to see like all of the innovative like progresses that it's made throughout the years. So I've gotten to see like regular polish turn into like UV gel top coat, and then that UV gel top
Mm,
coat turning into like just straight up gel polish. Like not a lot of people use regular polish anymore. You don't have to sit there and dry, and it's
hmm.
really cool to see all of that. Um, I get to see like what type of designs are like revolutionized and like so like Y2K, like the whole 2000s designs is coming back. So it's really cool to see that because I really used to hate doing that type of design when I was younger. Like people would be like, oh, I want like the little lines, and I'm like, that's what you want. Like you don't want like leopard print, you don't want like some like they'll be like, no, I want the lines, and I'll be like, okay, with the French and the glitter with the
Right,
dot.
right.
Like, yeah. So to see that coming back is really cool. I actually like doing it now because it's like super Y2K and cute, but
Hmm.
it's really cool being able to see like watching it revolutionize like the way it has.
Yeah, yeah, most of it. I could definitely agree with that, especially with nail education. I like how a lot of people are, about nail education, and that's very much a good thing.
Yes.
And I took a nail course with Vanity Projects. I got like a scholarship for the nail course.
Yes.
And, they taught me about nail prep. And I'm like, this helped me so much because I wasn't sure about nail prep if I was doing it properly. But they taught me like, okay, this is how you prep the nails before you add any application. And that helped a lot. And that helps with gel nails, and acrylics last longer.
Yeah, nail prep is very important, especially now that like a clean base is so important. You can see it in pictures, you can see it, the clients see it, you can see that they last longer. So what I've noticed a lot too is like a lot of nail techs, but including me, like we do manicures before the set, like dry manicures, um,
Mhm.
to properly prep the cuticles to make it super clean and seamless.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And and even though I'm very experienced, with the nail art, but some of those simple things really help because that's the foundation. It's like building a house. You don't want your house to fall down,
Yeah,
and,
I
and
know.
like you can have like the best house or like the best like nail art, but if it doesn't last long, then it doesn't do any justice.
Yeah. doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the thing. But also too, I'm glad that people, are doing like educational courses about like nail prep, but also about safety and sanitation and understand different clients, because there are certain products that, give clients an allergic reaction. Some class an allergic reaction. So, I think those things are very important to not just the nail art aspect in itself.
Yeah, you got to know what alternatives you could use and what you could do to like stop the reaction and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Now, what do you like the most in terms of doing like nail enhancements, like acrylic or gel, and why?
Ooh. So I'm pretty new to doing gel. I only do the technique that I do in New York. I only do in New York because they have
Mhm.
like special polishes and they're kind of expensive and hard to get because they're imported from Japan. So
Right.
I love that whenever I go up there, I'm able to use gel. Not a lot of people do like extensions up there, but here at home, I do a lot of long nails because it's
Hmm.
Florida. And so I'm like 50-50. I do gel X extensions more than I do acrylics now, but acrylics just the length is like you can do whatever length you want, you can do whatever shape you want. I'm able to build
Hmm.
the way that I want. And it's kind of just what I like started with. So because I'm
Hmm.
so new to gel X, I don't know. I'm kind of just like I have no favorite.
Mm. Yeah, right, exactly. Now, in terms of promoting like your nail art and your services, what are some marketing strategies that you've used that helped you to market your work?
So when I was trying to gain exposure to where I'm at now, I would constantly post on Instagram and so that the algorithm can get me right. And so
Right.
I would say social media is really important to the type of industry that we're in. You have to put yourself out there for the exposure. And I would always post deals, especially starting out when I first got my studio back in 2019. I would post like if you come to me for the first month that I've opened, I'll give you like 10% off plus $5 towards your next set to get them to come back. Or, I would always have those little
Mhm.
deals. And like around prom season, I would always be like, oh, like a set that's normally $80, I'll charge you like $60 to
Right.
get them back in and stuff. And just constantly posting, even though I'm not
Mhm.
as active anymore, but that's usually how I would get my exposure through Instagram.
Yeah, most definitely. Posting is definitely key,
Mhm.
and especially, it can get hard just because you have so many of these social media platforms. You have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
Right.
you have TikTok, and then, Snapchat was the thing. And
Yeah.
so, it gets hard to keep with a lot of these social media platforms.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the entire thing with that. So, in terms of advice, what advice would you give for someone who wants to get into the nail industry?
My advice is to go to school, get licensed, certification, great. You can start off doing that. I'm always a big fan of like people trying. But I will say you have to go to school. You have to be a professional license to be able to, I guess, earn your place in the industry,
Right,
because a lot of nail techs now aren't licensed and they
right,
do amazing work. But at the end of the day, like you can get in serious trouble for that, and we don't want that for you.
right.
I always say like go to school, even if it's like later on in the career. And because social media has put into our heads that you have to like be great and you have to be your own boss and like all that stuff. Start at your own pace. If you
Right.
have to work at a salon to gain your clientele and you have to do like the ugliest sets and you have to do like pedicures and like you have to do all this stuff that you don't want to do, you should do it because at the end of the day, like you have to always start somewhere. Like, there's always a beginning
Mhm.
to like an inevitable end. So it's like always put yourself in a position where you're comfortable, and then go from there. You don't always have to start at a salon, but I always do recommend it. So that way you know how to deal with like all different types of customers and know how to do all different types of work and like dealing with other people. Because it makes it easier for you becoming on your own in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I worked in a spa like my senior year of college. So I had like, the feel of working with different clients. And that's very important too. Different personalities, what a person likes and what they don't like. You understand different nail beds, so and it gives you the chance to meet other people and to
Mhm.
try to connect with other people, work with people. And you're not going to like everybody, not everybody is going to like you. And that's just something you have to really understand, especially within any business.
Right. Yeah. Especially as a professional, like you have to learn how to, stay in character and like never let anybody get under your skin pretty much because it's people are really hard to deal with.
Yeah. They can be hard to
Mhm.
deal with, most definitely. But I also want to get into success. How would you define success?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. Success is pretty much to me, at the end of it, is pretty much just being happy with where you are in life. Um, Kind of just like working at your own pace and making sure that, the goals that you have set for yourself or for yourself and not for other people. And success has a lot to do with when people think of success, they think of money. But to me, success is like all the little things combined that make the big things. Like, just like even if you start with something that's really difficult at first and then in the end like you were able to work your way to where you wanted to be and you didn't have to do all of that at once and you just slowly get there and it's subjective.
Yeah. It's different for everybody. And
Yeah.
that's the thing too. You got to have that, you have to really establish a balance, but also mental health is very important. And, I'm
Yes.
a big advocate for that. And I like how with our generation, we're talking more about
Yeah.
mental health. And especially, when it comes down to social media, like we look at, social media and we look at these celebrities, and they live a different life than how we live. So that's something that we have to understand, is to not compare ourselves to other people. That's very important.
Yeah, everybody has different opportunities. You can't compare yourself to another person. Like the same way you were privileged to have something is the same way somebody else is privileged to have something.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in terms of within your experience in the nail industry, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Um, So because I've been doing this pretty much my whole life, this isn't like something that I do want to do for much longer. I actually want to try to be more into my creative mind, kind of just like dabbling into everything that I've ever wanted to do, like commission artwork and like artwork that I want to do in general, and like tattoos and like different stuff like that. But to kind of just like lean away from actually doing nails and like
Mhm.
pay bills and stuff, I kind of do want to start doing education with nail art. So it's kind of difficult to do, like, I guess you could say like one-on-ones, which I kind of do some here and there,
Right,
but I do want to like open a Patreon and like kind of just have that guidance there for people at all times. Like you'll
right.
pick here and like I'll record for you and you can just always come back to that video and stuff. So I kind of want to start doing like education for nail art through like Patreon and stuff, as my next step in the career.
That'd be really, really cool. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support your work?
You can find me on Instagram. That's my main platform. It's Kelly Koutur, KELLY KOUTUR. And supporting me would just, give me a follow, give me a like here and there. Nothing crazy. That's all you got to do. I would love that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for jumping onto the show. Your work is absolutely amazing. You have such a bubbly personality. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So great meeting you.
So great meeting you too. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.